Oh, peace, light, and love from the dog park. Wow, I'm almost alone here. And I'm once again reading from The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. And today I decided to do a double feature. So, feeling good. Make yourself feel good. It's our job to first make ourselves feel better and then make ourselves feel good. Sorry about the noise from behind. Recovery is not only about stopping painful feelings, it's about creating a good life for ourselves. So I always said, it's not about giving up that chocolate cake, but it's about eating a good salad. It's not about stopping bad habits, but picking up good ones. We don't have to deny ourselves activities that help us feel good. Going to meetings, basking in the sun, exercising, taking a walk, or spending time with a friend are activities that may help us feel good. We each have our own list. If we don't, we're now free to explore, experiment, and develop that list. Now, if that list is eating potato chips, maybe you can renew that list and add features that are a little bit healthier, like snacking on avocado and chips, or how about just enjoying a good book, sitting in the dog park. So, if we don't have a list, we're now free to explore, experiment, and develop that list. When we find a behavior or activity that produces a good feeling, put it on the list. Then do it frequently. Let's stop denying ourselves good feelings and start doing things that make us feel good. Today, I will do one activity or behavior that I know will create a good feeling for me. If I'm uncertain about what I like, I will experiment with one behavior today. I will be an example. Well, I chose also for Shoshana and Shelby. They like to sunbathe. I did yoga today. Good for me. I decided I'm going to do yoga. And once you decide, the universe does everything to help you. Once I decided I'm going to do yoga, I had the right conditions. People that were around me with noisy music moved away and created a space for me without me arguing even. So once we want something really, we pursue something that's important for us, the universe will collaborate. Now I want to talk about something that's very, it's not so easy. And it's called letting go of fear. So fear is the core of codependency. This is the reading for today. Shoshana. Fear is the core of codependency. It can motivate us to control situations or neglect ourselves. Many of us have been afraid for so long that we don't label our feelings fear. We're used to feeling upset and anxious. It feels normal. Peace and serenity may be uncomfortable for us. At one time, fear may have been appropriate and useful. We may have relied on fear to protect ourselves, much the way soldiers in a war rely on fear to help them survive. I can bring an example, people that are harmful for us. If you're afraid, you can protect yourself from people that are harmful for you. For a while, I did attract people that were addicts, and my fear of attracting the wrong people again helps me. Okay? And Shoshana is doing her job, but a little bit of friendliness. Sorry. Sorry, yeah. But in recovery, we're living life differently. When we decide to let go of the negativity in our life, we listen to our healthy fears and let go of the rest. We can create a feeling of safety for ourselves now. We are safe now. We made a commitment to take care of ourselves. We can trust and love ourselves. So you don't have to feel, oh, there's an airplane in the sky, that's new. You do not have to feel that fear, the anxiety you feel. Don't suppress it, because every feeling that you suppress will come back again and bite you. So suppressing is not recommended for emotions, especially negative emotions. You shouldn't suppress fear, but what we here is being suggested is that we listen to our healthy fears and let go of the rest. So if you have a fear, like let's say you're afraid of making friends, don't be afraid. Yesterday I had the most amazing conversation here with a lovely girl, and we exchanged numbers. And I'm always afraid that I'm going to get disappointed, but never ever give up on that. Never give up on making new connections. Not because this person, you can get something out of that person, just to make healthy new connections and let go of the unhealthy ones. So this is like, this is how life works. You let go of the old and let in the new, right? So we can create a feeling of safety for ourselves now. We are safe. We've made a commitment to take care of ourselves. We can trust and love ourselves. So this is today's prayer is, God, help me let go of my need to be afraid. Replace it with the need to be at peace. Help me listen to my healthy fears and relinquish the rest. So oftentimes it's so easy to say what we don't want. I don't want this, I don't want this. But what is it that you do want? If we're constantly looking at what we don't want, we're focusing on the negative. And our mind tends to focus on what we feed it. So if you feed your mind fear, it's going to be fearful. So if you want to go towards good places, to fill your mind up, to fill that mind up, feel. Oh, that accent of mine. If you want to fill your mind with healthy thoughts that will get you balanced and feeling good, then focus, what do you want? What do you want? But do listen to the healthy fears. Do be afraid that, I had a fear yesterday to call a family member who was in the past has proven himself to be quite toxic. And at a time when I needed family the most, I was left really abandoned in a really bad place. And I had a fear that told me, don't make that call. And sure enough, the whole call, it was like a tsunami. It's also called like a what do you call, domino effect. Once I made that call, he fed me his negativity and his toxicity, I was just in this negative cycle. It affected my environment. My whole home environment was toxic. I really had a horrible day. I was really, really upset. And you know what the problem is? I could see it coming. And my grandfather always said, who is the wise who can predict what's going to happen? And I really try to talk about an incident that happened. Because, it was like a situation where people walked into a bank and just emptied my mother's safe. And those people were supposed to be my siblings, my older brother and sister. And I still never got it in my mind that this is what people do. If you read Joseph and his brothers in the Bible, they put him in a black hole in the ground, full of snakes. And they're his brothers. So why is this happening to me? I thought to myself. And I try to create another reality and let go of the fear and say, no, trust. You can't trust people that prove that they are not to be trusted. If somebody treats you badly, the only thing you can do is listen to the past experiences and not allow that person to hurt you again. So not only did I let him say really horrible things to me, like I'm crazy, I make up stuff, there's only one truth, which is gaslighting. I made a phone call to lawyers. I've been told it's too late. I don't know. But the feeling that somebody could just walk into a bank where my mother keeps her stuff and just empty it and just give me one piece of jewelry and just say, you're making things up. I think I said to him something that I really meant. I feel sorry for you. I told him, I really feel sorry for you. He said, why do you feel sorry for me? Because he didn't expect that. And I really said it. Sometimes my honesty works well. Most of the time, it gets me in trouble. I said, because, you cannot be happy if you have a need to steal. I mean, you have a good job, and he has a lot of money already from my mother and apartments, and inherited so much money from another person he manipulated. And I don't know why he needs to go into the bank and empty my mother's safe. Now, she trusted when you give a will, that's a legal document that needs to be respected. And it's not only legal, but a will is also a document that is the message. This is like, oh my God, this is such a cute puppy. This I'm letting in my life. Oh my God, cute puppies walking by. But the thing is, this is unresolved business for me because I feel very sad that my mother's last will and testament has not been respected. And I feel sad that the law says it's too late now. It's been 10 years, or more. And I'm thinking, I've consulted so many lawyers and I feel so bad about it. But I think the big loser in this game is not me. So I didn't get the money and the financial security that I could have used to help dogs and homeless dogs and cats or people or causes that are important for me, a little bit to give something or to just live, because teaching in Israel is really, really difficult to live off. And I don't have a job like him. I'm not a manager in a big electricity company. He works right across the river. And every day I come and exercise here, I can see where he works. And I know he makes so much money. He doesn't have to even pay electricity bill. He has his pension. He has a big house. He has so much. So does my sister. My mom gave him so much money. And not only did he take away the apartment in which I was supposed to live, all the belongings, my mom collected all the furniture, renting it out, and not giving me anything out of it. But he's also denying he walked into the bank and emptied the safe and telling me that I don't remember things, that I'm delusional. Now, what do you do with people that say you're delusional? This is the definition of gaslighting. They say, you're crazy, you don't remember things. Now, the lawyer wanted to sit down and talk about things. Now, he's not stupid. He doesn't want to give up. He likes his money. And he said to me, probably the most painful thing you can say to a sibling, I don't want a connection with you. And in Hebrew, the word connection is kesher. And the word for lying is sheker. And I said, it's not kesher, it's a sheker. It's not a connection. It's, I don't know how in English I would make such a play, a sort of game of words. It's not a connection, but it's deception. It's not a connection, it's a deception. So, yes, I should have gone to a lawyer. Yes, I should have made sure my mom's will was respected. This is what she wanted. If she didn't want it, she would have written, you know what, everything goes to my two older children. But she loved all her children. All parents, I believe, parents do love all their children, though not equally easily. Some children are more challenging than others to love. But these are your babies, and usually in healthy families, at least. My mother was not the healthiest person, but she loved me. I was born after she lost a baby. She was really connected to me, and she a little bit disabled me by spoiling me a bit and worrying about me a lot. But when it came to helping me out, she wasn't able to do it. But the will said I am entitled to a third of the belongings, a third of the safe, and I didn't get that. And he's making me sound like I'm delusional. So what really hurts, this is a big wound, and for those who are in a similar situation, I'm embracing you right now in a huge cyberspace embrace. It really hurts to know that you don't have a brother or sister, that you're just nothing for them, that all they care about is money, especially if you're a spiritual seeker like me. I've got to the conclusion when I saw my father being put into the earth when I was 18, that there is nothing you can take from this world when you die. And I made up my mind right then that I'm going to focus on studying this process, understanding life and biology and life. And I definitely was never focused on finance. And this is why I fell hard financially, especially now with the coronavirus, not having a job, not having an income. So my brother refuses to acknowledge responsibility. And now I told him this morning, I wrote a message, I didn't call, I said, this is for the future generation. It even says it in the Bible that when parents, the fathers sin, then the next generation pays for it. They're the ones who are going to suffer, and they're going to be, they're going to be, it's like a disease that's passed on. And people that think that they can just cheat and lie and harm other people and it doesn't affect the environment, they just don't know what coronavirus is all about. One bat sick in China affected the whole entire world. Every country, every piece of earth was affected by one incident in China. So one deed a person does affects not necessarily the injured party, but it affects everybody. It affects the environment. It affects the family. And sure enough, in our family, every generation, when there's money, they grab the money and disconnect from their siblings. And it's happened so many times on both sides. And my mother was very, very hurt by having that happen to her. So the idea that nothing, for me, it's not the problem because I have a lot of love inside. I love children. I love animals. Even if I don't always show it, I love my children very much. They're my life. And I think my children love each other too. And I would hope that my children have an ability to love. I take them to play groups. I try to educate them to love despite having raised them in a very difficult family with their father being a very difficult person. Who was violent, aggressive, who didn't acknowledge somebody else. But I tried very much to not let hate overcome and to quote Martin Luther King, to not fight darkness with darkness. I tried. Sometimes I can't do it. Sometimes the darkness overwhelms me. But I try to make light. I try to practice my yoga because we make a change one person at a time. I try to work on myself. I try to find love within me, and I often am shocked how difficult it is for me to find love, because when you're fed hate, it's really hard to find love. And we live in a really difficult area. The Middle East here is full of conflict. Do we need more conflicts by family members? I really don't think so. So as I look across the river, I think it's really sad that we don't love, that we were not raised with enough love. There's not enough love to go around in this world. And it's really important, like a garden, to nurture this. And telling people you don't deserve something that your mother left you is not going in the right direction. And telling a person they're delusional, making them feel like they're crazy, is not a step in the right direction for that person. The person who's going to be injured is themselves. The Chinese have a great saying, he who seeks revenge digs two graves. And this is what I feel. I feel that for some reason my siblings want revenge against me for being a favorite at one point, for being a good pupil, for being artistic, creative, sorry to say attractive, but I've had a good life with the father of my children in a beautiful country in Europe. So of course it creates jealousy. I lived in a beautiful country. And one of my children still lives there, and it's a gorgeous country, and it is beautiful life there, but it's also not easy. And I am very loyal to my culture and my language, and I came back to figure out how to mend, because I understood this is our task on this earth, is to try to mend what you can, try to fix. And I do believe that everything is connected, and the coronavirus tells us this, if not the Bible or spiritual studies from all over the world, from every tradition. So from somebody that grew up with me to hate me so much, I think that the injured party is the person who hates. This is why it's so important to make peace. Because the person who's injured is not the person who is is victimized by violence, but it's the person who's violent. It's the person who hits. It's the person who hates. It's the person who lies and steals. They're the victim because they're the ones who are with hate. And it's like they say, when you hold hate is like a flame. When you hold it in your hand, you get burned. I don't want to hate. I really don't, and I'm trying to convey it. It's not like I want a connection. I don't want a deception, but I want to fix things as much as I can. And being heard is not going to be possible, probably. So I need to let go of that because I don't think I'm going to be heard. They have so much resentment and hate, my siblings. They're not going to let it go. They're not going to try to work on themselves. They're going to carry this hate and pass it on like a torch to the next generation and the next generation. And they think, oh, everything will be right. I gave my children a lot of money and cars, and my kids have houses and cars, and that's all they need. But you know what? That's the last thing people need. We need enough money to live, which is where I am at this point. I'm really struggling because I really didn't take care of myself enough financially. So you need enough to survive. I don't need to be a beggar when my mother wanted to leave me something to help me. But if this person, my brother and sister, decided that hate is more important for them than making sure that after they leave this earth in 20, 30 years, there will be loving children that don't continue this. And even if the children don't continue it, it's in the DNA, when you hate, people hate. How can you tell it's like taking a dog and telling them to bite someone. I've seen people kill or bite, And a human being is much more complex animal than a dog. You take a child and you tell them to hate somebody, and you tell lies about that person, and you spread rumors, and this hate continues and grows like a snowball effect. And it never goes away because the next generation carries it. And instead of moving forward towards a good place, it's becoming like the biblical saying, Avot achlu boser ve'shinei banim tikana. The fathers have done something wrong, and then the sons are going to pay for that. And it's not a retribution. It's just the way things work. You cannot raise children on hate and expect them to be healthy. You cannot harm people and expect it not to affect your life. Because it does. Even if 1 minute before you're dead you feel regret, it's going to be too late. And I am sure that every human being that lives on this planet with even a little bit of self-awareness reaches that stage when you end your life on this earth. I'm sure there's a moment of regret for having done things wrong. And if you don't have it, you're burying it beneath the earth. And if you don't feel for other people, then you're sick and you need to get help somehow. And you need to be aware that it's affecting your children. And I'm sure my behavior also influenced my children, which is why I sought distance when I felt I need to work on myself. And I'm still working on myself. But if you don't work on yourself and you just continue to hate and continue to deny and to lie and steal from other people just because you can, that's not a reason to do something just because you can. I can kill a person, but I'm not going to do it just because I can. I can steal, but I'm not going to do it just because I can. Because it affects other people. It affects everything. That bat in China affected everybody here and everybody all over the world. So let us not forget that your action today will affect people. And as far as letting go of fear, don't be afraid to tell your truth. Don't be afraid to know that it's not one truth, but it's how you see things, and it's also some things are facts. Just like this tree standing here, a person can come and lie and say, no, the tree's not here, or I don't know what is a good example, but lying is a form of violence. When you deny something, when you say that never happened and the other person is lying, you are not respecting the other person, and the lack of respect for the other person is your behavior, and it's becoming your character. You know, your habits become your habitual behavior, becomes your personality, and this is what your children and your grandchildren and your great grandchildren are going to remember, and they're going to carry it on. And I think it's about time to put down the burden and not to carry hate from generation to generation. And that's whether it's a personal in a family or whether political. It all works the same way. Lay down your arms and respect the other person. Don't lie to people because people know what happened. Don't say things that you know the other person knows are true, and play games. These games backfire big time. So, peace, light, and love, and let go of animosity. Let go